We've got the Chiefs and the Eagles meeting in Super Bowl 57 on Sunday. Who do you think is going to win and become Super Bowl 57 champs?
I mean, I know I picked against them in the first round in the divisional, well, first round for them, but I got to rock with Philadelphia, man. I believe that on paper, Philadelphia has a more loaded roster. They are more prepared. They have a deeper roster in terms of positional players, like a pool of players that can actually come in and alleviate some starters. And what I mean by that is, I think specifically that the Philadelphia Eagles defensive line is probably the deepest that I've seen in a long time. And I think that that is going to be a key factor for me specifically as to why I believe the Eagles are going to win. I know that the Chiefs have a pretty solid offensive line, but when it turns into like I said, the depth, the rotational players, I think Philadelphia is going to find a way to get to the quarterback. I mean, you went out and you got Ndamukong Suh, Lindeval Joseph, you have Josh Sweat, you have Fletcher Cox, you have Brandon Graham, you have Hargrave. I mean, you name it. Philly's got the pieces to go out and make big plays at the defensive line. And then you talk about probably the best secondary in football with Bradbury, Slay, Gardner Johnson. You have Mike Epps. You have Blankenship coming out in his rookie season undrafted. I mean, like I said, you just have a great overall defense, what I would consider to be arguably the best defense right there next to San Francisco. So when you combine that, right, veteran players from that team, from that previous Super Bowl team, are still there. You still have Fletcher, you still have BG to keep everybody kind of formulated together, everybody calm, cool, and collective. On the offensive side, you still have Jason Kelsey, you still have Lane Johnson to kind of keep and rally everybody together to keep them focused. And then, of course, the issue that I would probably have, Kyle and I were actually talking about this before, for Philadelphia would be the inexperience of Jalen Hurts in this type of environment. Not to say that he's not used to winning, because we all know that he's been to 2 national championships and he's won 2 of them at Alabama. He's been to the college football playoff, even as the quarterback at Oklahoma. So he doesn't necessarily shy away from big moments. He doesn't necessarily have that cocky mentality as most young quarterbacks do. I would say that he's very similar to Joe Burrow, very cool, monotoned, focused on the the direction the team needs to go on. Very similar to Kobe Bryant almost. He's like, job's not done. Like, the season's not over. Every interview you talk to him about after having an incredible game, always kind of hyping his teammates up and, just saying to everybody, like, I don't care about being undefeated. I don't care about an MVP. I don't care about a Pro Bowl. Like, I'm focused on winning. And I think that confidence will play into Jalen Hurts, and his poise will also help him focus. And I mean, quite frankly, with Philadelphia being one of the better rushing teams in the NFL, I feel like they are going to lean on that run game until they cannot no more, until they cannot anymore. So I feel like those quantitative pieces, all of that information that I believe is important and imperative, is going to lead the Philadelphia Eagles into winning Super Bowl 57 and hoisting up that trophy yet again.
Kev, I've been going back and forth the entire day. And honestly, I'll just break it down to you like this. My head is telling me the Eagles are going to win. My heart is telling me the Chiefs are going to win, just because I know what Pat is capable of. And we have seen Pat make just unbelievable plays in the biggest stages of not just regular season games, but playoff games, Super Bowl games. But I am going to go with my head on this one. I'm going to favor the Eagles as well, and I do believe that they will be Super Bowl 57 champs like you just outlined. Overall, to me, when I look at the Eagles compared to the Chiefs, they are just a more well-rounded unit. Offensively, they're humming on all cylinders. And even though that I'm of the mindset that the Eagles have had a relatively easy path to get to this Super Bowl, look, you got to go up against your competition that you're given. And granted, there have been some things that have gone against some of the teams that they played. Obviously, San Francisco had Brock Purdy go through his shoulder injury that left him sidelined, and then they had to resort to a 4th-string quarterback. The Giants just got absolutely smoked by the Eagles. That was just more of a testament to the Eagles displaying, honestly, executing a game plan damn near to perfection. And I think going into this game, this will be their biggest challenge so far, because let's face it, the Chiefs have been here before. This is something that they have been accustomed to for the last couple years. Ever since Pat has taken the reins as a starting quarterback for the Chiefs, they are in the hunt to be in the Super Bowl every year. And if they don't get there, they'd fall just short in the AFC Championship game. So this is a territory that the Chiefs know quite well. And like you said, Kev, there are some core players that were still from that Eagles team that won Super Bowl 52 a couple years ago. But by and large, this is a much more younger unit as a whole. And most of the players going on this Super Bowl team are not from that Super Bowl 52 team. So this will be a new environment and this will be a new challenge for them. But I do believe that they will be able to rise to the challenge and get it done on Sunday. To me, the game plan is going to be simple. From an offensive perspective for the Eagles, they have to get the ball out quick. The Chiefs have one of the best pass rushes in the game. They were number 2 in the league this year. And going up against the Bengals a couple of weeks ago in the AFC Championship game, they showed why. Chris Jones was a force of nature in that game and made some of the most critical plays in that game that sent Kansas City to the Super Bowl. And I believe if Nick Sirianni and the offensive coaching staff are looking at what the defense of the Chiefs present, it would be get the ball out early and focus on running the ball. If they're able to run the ball effectively and keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline, that's going to be their best thing moving forward. And defensively, look, you're going up against Patrick Mahomes. He is clearly one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback of this generation. And even though that he may be hindered to a certain extent because of that high ankle sprain, the Eagles should not think that whatsoever. They need to bring a consistent pass rush the entire day. And if they're able to win the battle on the line of scrimmage consistently throughout the game, I think that they will force the Chiefs into a situation where they're going to have to resort to Pat carrying them to that Super Bowl victory. And I do believe, like Kevin outlined, that Eagle secondary can step up and make some critical plays and potentially get some turnovers against the Chiefs. It's not going to be easy because, Pat has shown a tendency over the years to be pretty solid in not turning the ball over in these big moment games, especially in the playoffs. So it's going to be really the key emphasis for me is going to be that pass rush. If they can get home, that's where they could potentially make some plays and potentially force some turnovers as well. When it comes to the Chiefs definitely have a shot to win this game. I don't want to count them out entirely. It's just, to me, they seemed a little bit more dinged up going into this game. Going back to the AFC Championship game, there were plenty of injuries to go around with the Chiefs, and they were able to overcome that and beat Joe Burrow and the Bengals at home in a relatively close game. But going up just against a better overall team, the best well-rounded team that we have left in the Eagles, I don't think that Pat's going to be able to bring that Mahomes magic that we've seen him bring time and time again to a point where they can win Super Bowl 57. I think he's going to make it competitive, though. This, to me, has a very good chance of being a high-scoring game because if the Eagles' defense can't slow down Pat, expect a shootout. This is going to be a game that could go back and forth, and it could be settled by a field goal when it's all said and done. Overall, though, I think the Eagles are going to make enough plays to get them over the hump and become Super Bowl champions in this Super Bowl 57 matchup. So the way that I see it, I got the Eagles winning this one by about 3 to 6 points. I do believe that Jalen Hurts has a very good chance of winning Super Bowl MVP, and the Eagles would win their second Super Bowl in 5 to 6 years? It'd be pretty impressive. And to do it with a whole new coaching staff compared to what they had with Doug Peterson, a brand new quarterback in Jalen Hurts compared to Nick Foles. Things are looking pretty good for the Eagles moving on forward. And when it comes to the Chiefs, look, they're going to be competitive. It's just I don't think they're going to make enough plays. And with the injuries that have lingered on from the AFC Championship game a couple weeks ago, that could show itself in this game. But overall, I just have more faith that the Eagles are going to get it done and be Super Bowl 57 champs when it's all said and done.